Okay, just 1 more minute. It will be 5 after 3. And then we can meet up with others. Okay. Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to GST807 class.
Good afternoon, Prof.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I know I'm
Good
dealing with
afternoon, sir.
master's level students, so welcome to NOUN. And welcome to the compulsory course that cuts across all students from undergraduate to postgraduate. Before we do go to the main business for today, though I have just only 18 students online, I will want us to briefly go through the rules, the rules of engagement for this class. Please, if your audio is having problem, just mute it, mute yourself. Okay, so let's quickly go through the core rules here. I'm going to share my screen for the next few minutes. I believe everybody should be seeing my screen now.
We can see, Prof.
Okay, are you seeing my screen now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, sir. You can see.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are seeing your screen.
Okay, good. Now,
Let's see your
let's
screen.
thank you. Let's move on to now. Netiquette is derived from a combination of network and etiquette. Therefore, the word means the etiquette of the cyberspace. In simpler words, netiquette is the set of rules for proper online behavior. Please note that we are concerned here with www.mylearningspace.com because rules for sites may differ from one another. So let's go on to our first rule. In everything you are going to do in this medium, remember the human. Anyone can become impersonal in the cyber world. You must always remember that human beings are behind the machine and respect them as such. Therefore, don't be rude, don't be hurtful, don't use offensive words, as words are being archived. In other words, whatever we say here, whatever we do here is actually being recorded. I hope you understand that. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Something happened and my screen came back.
You have to share the screen again.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. I didn't know why it decided to happen like that. Rule number 2, look good online. Now, there is a tendency for you to think that you are in your house, you are in your bedroom, you are anywhere you are. It has tendency for you to think that this is an informal meeting. But please remember that this is still a formal classroom. Therefore, your appearance matters. Even if you are in your bedroom, please, for the 1 hour of this class, anytime it holds, please be well dressed. The mastery of your content matters. Be pleasant, be polite, even when you are trying to install discipline. Avoid vulgar language and mannerism. Rule number 3, respect other people's time and bandwidth. Now, if we say facilitation begins at 3, we want you to be in class at least 5 minutes before or 10 minutes. This is to give room for technical glitches that can prevent you from gaining access to class on time. I will always try to open the class by 10 minutes to 3. Now, if you are trying to wait for you, I made an analysis here. If you are late to class of 100 students by 10 minutes, in reality, you are not 10 minutes late. You are 100 times 10, that's 1,000 minutes late. And that will give us 16 hours, 6 minutes. Because we will have ended up wasting 10 minutes of everyone's time. Okay. All right. I think most of the things that concerns you here actually has to do with the manner of addressing one another as well as your appearance. Now, I think we can go on to the business of the day. I know many people have attempted logging in. Some have been successful. I see people are already responding to the post in the discussion forum. And I say kudos to every one of you for that. You deserve, those who have done that deserve a round of applause. Can we give it to them? You can do it physically or electronically. Choose your choice. Let me do my own physically. You can do yours electronically. Okay, thank you very much. I've seen those who are electrifying their claps. All right, thank you very much. For the purpose of introduction, my name is Professor Olubi Adewale, and I'm a professor of biblical studies in the Department of Religious Studies, National Open University of Nigeria. However, I am facilitating this course because by virtue of the experiences in the university, I'm the one that coordinated the writing of the course material. So I'm facilitating 800 level course and 900 level course. Okay. Now, joining me in facilitating the 800 level course, this GST807, is Dr. Opateye from the Faculty of Education. So we have decided to divide the class into 2. I will be taking your first 4 weeks, and Dr. Opateye will take the remaining 4 weeks. So again, on behalf of myself and Dr. Opateye, I say welcome to you all. Now,
welcome to you, sir.
Okay, so let's go on and take a look at the course guide. Let's take a look at the course guide. Excuse me. Okay. I don't know. Excuse me, please. I'm trying to get my course guide. Okay. Okay. Wow, the connection to the course guide is not provided here. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go. Today we are actually supposed to begin with the history of open and distance learning. The history of open and distance learning. And let me ask a question. How many of you have actually read about open and distance learning? If you have, just raise up your hand and I want to ask you to give us your definition of open and distance. And okay, I can see your hand, Bolanle. Bolanle, unmute yourself and tell us what you think the definition of open and distance learning should be. Bolanle, I'm waiting for you. I'm not hearing you because you have not unmuted your microphone. Unmute yourself. Aha, good on. Okay, can you speak now? Tell us the definition of open and distance learning.
Open and distance learning. Hello.
I'm listening. We are listening.
Okay. Open and distance learning. Open.
Are you lacking confidence? You raised up your hand. So why are you repeating open and distance 3-4 times? Don't mind those who are laughing at you. At least they didn't raise up their hand. Shall I call another person?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It looks as if your fuel is finishing halfway. Okay. Who wants to try? Please, if you want to try, unmute yourself and let's hear you.
Okay, I would like to say my name is Raphael. Thank you for this opportunity, sir. In my own words, I would like to say open and distance learning has to do with a system where the access you don't have a physical in terms of physical contact with your tutor, and also you are at liberty to learn at your own pace, and also to improve yourself at your own pace. I think that's my own understanding.
Yeah, you have tried, because in explaining your understanding, you are giving us about 3 core characteristics of open and distance learning, and I think you're on the right path. Is anybody coming up with any definition again? Thank you, Raphael. Can I have anybody to come up again?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Who is that?
This is Iche.
Okay, Tony. Okay, Tony.
What I open and distant learning with the term open being that it is available to a wide range of people, not with no free boundary, no boundary. So it's open to reach state.
Your network, Tony, your network seems to have problems. That's why we are not hearing you very well. Sorry about that.
Am I audible now? Am I better now?
Okay, it's better now.
Okay, so I said open and distant learning. With the first term, open refers to being no restriction, no boundary by state or local or locality. You can gain access to it, and it goes far, and you have access to the materials from wherever you are, with, lectures at your pace, at your time, and which is also via technology. So definitely you have to be tech savvy to gain the advantages of open and distant learning.
Thank you, Tony. Now, there's something fundamental that nobody has raised. Folashade Adebayo, I think. Folashade.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please, can you just unmute yourself and, okay, good. Let me have your opinion of.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. What do you think?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. What do you think open and distance learning is?
Well, from my own, the way I understand it, I want to say is a kind of teaching and learning whereby there is a kind of distance between both the lecturer and the students, and in time, and they are not in the same space, location at the same time, and different time, whereby they communicate maybe through media or any to learn, that the student learn from the lecturer, whereby in different space and time.
Okay, thank you. I've said the same thing in almost 3 different ways, but it's all right. Thank you very much for that. Now, that one fundamental thing that all of you have not talked about is the fact that, hello, who is that? Yes, hello. Hello. Okay, if you are lost, let me go on. Now, I said one thing that all of you have not talked about is the fact that open and distance learning is actually a combination of 2 different concepts. The first concept is the concept of open education, and the second concept is the concept of distance education. So now, when we begin to talk about the history of ODL, we will talk about this. Now I'm going to share my screen again, and we are going to take a look at the Commonwealth of Learning definition of open and distance learning. Now, for the sake of those, I want to share the whiteboard now. Okay. Okay. I'm going to format this, and I'm going to reduce this to 24. All right. Okay, you all can see this. Now, Commonwealth of Learning defines open and distance learning as a system of teaching and learning characterized by separation of teacher and learner in time or space. Can somebody explain what this means? Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry, let me go back to 1. Now, the first difference is, I'm trying to say, separation of teacher and learner in time and or space. In time and or space. Can somebody tell us what we mean by that? I'm listening.
Okay, this.
Good afternoon, sir. Michael Ademola here.
Afternoon.
Okay, Michael.
So,
All right. So when we talk about there's a separation of teachers and learners in time and of space, it simply means that the both are not in the same place. They have to do with both.
They are not in the same place. Good.
And it's remote learning. That means they don't need to see each other physically before they can interact.
Okay, yes, but you have not given us the second concept. Now, okay, let me put it this way. Separation of teacher and learner in time and or space are two different things. They can be separated in space but not in time. They can be separated in time but not in space. And they can be separated in both. All right? But our situation in Nigeria is such that we are only separated in space and not in time. You want to know why? Do you understand what I've said about separation in time?
yes, we do, sir.
Yes, sir.
The whole of Nigeria is within the same time zone. So we are not separated by time. We are
Time zone,
only
yes, sir.
separated by
By
space.
space.
But if
Okay.
we have any of our students who is in another country or in another continent, the likelihood of being separated in time is there as well as being separated in space.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to bring to you. Now, the second characteristic here is the use of multiple media for instructional delivery. And right now, this is one of the media of delivery. We have your course material, we have our online class, you have the asynchronous aspect. So all these are multiple ways of delivery. Then we have two-way communication, and then there has to be a high-level learner-to-learner interaction, and this is very important. All right.
Please, if your background voice, your background noise and people around you, can you please mute your audio so that it will give us concentration? If you have people around, or move away from there and go to a quiet place.
The best thing is to just mute yourself.
You can mute your microphone or go to a quiet place if you're in a noisy background. Please help us.
Sir, as the host, you can actually make everybody.
Thank you. I know I can
Let's look at everybody. When it's time for us to talk, then we can unmute ourselves. Because some people probably don't.
I'm trying to keep the colors as interactive as possible. So let us behave like matured adults.
Mature men, thank you.
Decide and know when to switch on and when to switch off.
When to switch
It
off.
makes learning easier and better for every one of us. Thank you very much. I think whoever is concerned has already done the necessary thing. So, good. Now, that definition of Commonwealth is one of the most comprehensive definitions because it has brought out, wow, they are coming. It has brought out a lot of characteristics about the open and distance learning. Now, we are going to go now. We are going to go into the history of ODL now. I'm not asking anybody to share screen, please. Please, I am not asking anybody to share screen. Can you just
Olanrewaju.
don't worry, I will override him. I don't know why he's doing that. Those are people that makes life difficult for other people by just being unnecessarily, gosh, heaven help us. Now, let's go to the history of open and distance learning. Don't worry, I'm going to kind of mute everybody now because that noise keeps coming up and
Yes, sir. Please mute everybody.
I think I'm tired of it. Okay, now, like I have said before, ODL is a combination of two different concepts, distance education and open learning. So to begin the history of ODL, it's always better to begin from distance education, which is actually the forerunner of ODL or of open education. Now, there are two schools of thought concerning the history of distance education. Some people think of 5 stages. Some people think of 3 stages. I prefer the 3 stages because if you look at those who are proposing 5 stages, they have already taken along the stage of ICT along, which actually belongs more to the open learning. So we are going to look at the 3-stage development of open and distance learning. And the first stage is the correspondence stage, where distance education was done basically through correspondence courses. In other words, students mail, or let's begin from the institution mail correspondence courses to students. Students read, answer question, mail back their answers, and the most widely known example of this is that of Pittman's correspondence course for shorthand, which was founded by Sir Isaac Pittman in the 1840s. That is the world's first widely known distance education. Now, later, the University of London was the first to offer degree courses through distance education. They started the program in 1828 and it was chartered in 1858. Now, for your information, most of the people that did the University of London external program were from the Commonwealth countries, including Nigeria. Then we have the second stage, which made use of what we call the sound and the video. And this was because the invention of radio during World War I set the stage for this place, for this level of education. So educational radio or instruction by radio started as early as 1960, and correspondence students began receiving instruction both from radio and the postal services. By 1925, the use of radio in distance education became global. And actually, the United States started the University of the Air with the University of Wisconsin by 1960. And by the end of that decade, over 200 faculties in the United States were participating in short courses on radio. Okay, and then coming the third stage, which is the computer technology stage. And what is responsible for this stage was the technological breakthrough of the 1980s, which included the computers and space satellites, and which made education to become part and parcel of technological revolution. Now, let me take a pause here again. And if you have any question before I go on to open and distance learning, I will want you to ask. All right, if you have any question, raise up your hand and let me. If you have any question, just raise up your hand. You can do it electronically, and if you think I can see you physically, you can also do that. Okay. Or mute yourself and talk, whichever one is very comfortable for you. Is anybody talking? Alimat? Alimat Ibrahim. Okay. Alimat, we are not hearing you. You know one thing you can do? You can use your charts. Use the chat. Use the chat to type your question. Alimat, you are not coming out clearly. Use the chat to ask your question, and then I'll read it here. Is that clear? Okay. All right. Let me go on for now, since it looks as if nobody is asking question. Now, open learning is an innovative movement in education that emerged in the 1970s. And it refers mainly to activities that enhance learning opportunity within formal educational system. But the philosophy of open learning that makes it stand out from other things is learner choices. Or let me say that it is learner-centered. So we are talking about learners having a choice about the medium or media of learning, about the place and pace of learning, about support mechanism, about entry and exit point. So with this philosophy of open learning, there is a lot of responsibility thrown on the learner themselves. You can come in at your time and you can go in at your time. It's your choice. You can decide to spend 8 years instead of a 4-year program. It's your choice. You can decide to read on your smartphone or read on the physical. Everything has to be about the choice of the learner. Now, it is this philosophy of open learning that is now combined with distance education to give birth to what we now call open and distance learning. Okay. That's a question from Amos that he will appreciate if I will explain the sound and video stage again. All right. All right. I said the sound and video stage came into existence because of the invention of the radio during World War I. So with this, radio stations begin to broadcast courses over the radio so that people wherever they are can always listen to the radio and listen to their course. Now, unknown to many of you, National Open University of Nigeria actually has a radio station where course materials and music are being played most of the time. But because it's on the FM, this frequency modulation, it's only heard mostly in Lagos State. Except there was a time when they went on the web that you can also pick up the station from the web. Okay, so that's opened up a new level of interaction in distance education. So students now start receiving their courses from the post and also listening to courses on the radio. That's that about the sand and the sand stage. Okay, now let me continue with this. Now, open and distance learning is one of the most rapidly growing field of education. Okay, let me stop sharing this and go and pick another thing entirely. Okay. Now you can go back and pick this. I welcome you to the first session of our facilitation on GST 807. Today we will have a quick run through of the course guide, and then we will zero in on the first 3 units of module 1. And these essentially are the definition of open and distance learning, the history of open and distance learning globally, the history of open and distance learning in Nigeria, and then the reasons why open and distance learning institutions has come to stay in this country. This course is going to be very interesting because it is aimed at making you particularly suitable to learning in an open and distance environment. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to GST 807. Yes, you are welcome to GST 807, and today we are going to handle the history of open and distance learning system. I am your facilitator for this course. Ladies and gentlemen, by the end of this unit, you will be able to define open and distance learning. You will be able to identify the various stages of distance education. You should be able to differentiate between distance learning and open learning. And you should be able to comment on the role of technology in distance learning. I welcome you to the first. Now, open and distance learning, or ODL for short, it's a combination of 2 concepts of education. The first one is distance education, and the second one is open learning. However, all through the academic world, there has never been a consensus definition of what the 2 terms are. But for the purpose of this class, the purpose of this course, we will be zeroing in on the Commonwealth of Learning definition of 2015, which defines ODL as a system of teaching and learning characterized by separation of teacher and learner in time and or space, and uses multiple media for delivery of instruction. It also involves 2-way communication and occasional face-to-face meeting for tutorials and learner-to-learner interaction. Now, by this definition, you discover that characteristics of the ODL system have been brought out for us, and you will see a lot of this as we continue in this study session of that. Now to the history of distance education. Now, like we have said, ODL is a combination of 2 terms. So we are going to start with the term distance education because distance education actually came before open learning. Now, Some scholars say there are 5 stages in the development of open learning, and some scholars adopt 3. Now, for our purpose, I will adopt the 3 stage. And the 3 stages are identified as the correspondence stage, the sound and video stage, and then the computer technology stage. We'll take a little bit look at the stage and facilitation on the correspondence stage, which is the first appearance of distance learning. It started in the mid-19th century. Great Britain, France, Germany, and the United States were the first countries to go into distance education. Now, Pittman correspondence course, which was started by Sir Isaac Pittman in the 1840s, was the first officially recognized attempt at distance education. At the degree level, the University of London was the first to offer degrees through distance education. The University of London External Program was established in 1838 and chartered in 1858. GST807. The sound at the video stage. The invention of the radio laid the foundation for the second stage. Now you remember that radio was invented during the Second World War.
Of course.
Now, the first educational instruction by radio was aired in 1916. And by 1925, the use of radio in distance education became global. By early 1960s, the University of the Air was established, making use solely of radio signal in distance education. Now, in the 1980s, there was a technological breakout, and this brought about the computer technology stage. Continuous technological development began changing the educational landscape, and here we will have a quick landscape. Now let's look at open learning. Open learning emerged in 1970, built on a different educational philosophy. Now the educational philosophy of open learning emphasized learners' choices. Learners' choice about the medium of learning, learners' choice about the place and pace of learning, learners' choice about support mechanism, and learners' choice about the entry and exit point. Distance education and open and distance learning is today the most rapidly growing education, and its potential impact in all educational information technologies of the concept. Now, I want you to take some minutes, some seconds to consider this question. You can actually judge some points. What is the importance of open education in the 21st century? That's I want you to look into it and maybe have a kind of jottings or let us go.
Mugu. Wani yana da kuɗi ba da kuɗi. Ina kuɗi? Ai na je kwatanta wajen zuwa zan je in samu kuɗi. Ba da kuɗi. Ko in je ko in ce wa antis kuɗi da kuma wannan mutum.
Please be quiet.
Kuma abin takaicin ma ni abin da ya kata mun ganin kawai abba ya matsala. Wai sai bayan na maka magana kai da aka baka amana kayan mutane sai bayan na maka magana na
educational software is open international. Satellites and electronic networks allow transmission and communication across national boundaries. For example, as we are in class today, we may not know if some of our students are in other countries, and because of electronic network, they are able to log in and attend their class. So the global classroom is no longer a concept of our imagination or of the future. It is reality now. First 3 units of module I just want you to know the number of open universities. Africa has 10, Asia has 44. And for your information, Asia has been the leading continent in the quest for open and distance education in the world. And also, I want you to know that out of this 44, about 16 or 17 are in India alone. Oceania 1, Europe 12, North Central Americas and the Caribbean 7, South America 3. Now, open and distance learning in Nigeria, we'll now just run down to look at the history of open and distance learning in Nigeria. As far back as our 1977 National Policy on Education, the country has already anticipated the coming of open and distance learning. And the history of open and distance learning in Nigeria also followed the 3 stages of distance education. And the ODL mode was first employed at the tertiary level by the Ahmadu Bello University with their University of the Year in 1972. University of Lagos followed in 1974 by establishing correspondence and open studies unit called COSU. Later, they changed it to COSIT, Correspondence and Open Studies Institute, and today it is known as Distance Learning Institute, DLI. Now, the first university, open university in Nigeria was National Open University, which was established in 1983, but was aborted in 1984. It never saw the light, it never admitted students, but it was aborted. Then in 2002, under Chief Obasanjo, who became the first Nigerian to bag a Doctor of Philosophy degree from the National Open University of Nigeria, NOUN was established in 2002. Commonwealth of Learning is also partnering with NOUN with the creation of the regional training in distance, open and distance learning, because actually Commonwealth of Learning is seeing NOUN as the pioneer to train and to prepare West Africa for National University of Nigeria. One, the carrying capacity of conventional universities. Now, what I've just brought up here for you is the table of the number of students who took JAM from 2008 to 2017, number admitted, the percentage of those who are admitted, and the number not admitted. And you will discover that between 2009 and 2013, there was a straggling over 1 million students not admitted. In 2017, 980 not admitted. And we need to ask ourselves, it's not because these ones are not qualified. It is just because the capacity of our conventional universities do not provide room or access for them. So one of the major ways by which admission rigidity can be removed and for these other ones to access education is to create the open university. Now, the need for lifelong learning now continuous demand for higher education. We discovered that in the last few decades, there have been continuous demand for higher education by employers of labor for promotion as well as for assessment. And this makes employees begin to run around to acquire higher education. Let's take an example. Before, minimum qualification for primary school teachers in Nigeria is the Teachers Grade 2 certificate. When this was moved up to the National Certificate of Education, a lot of people either have to lose their job or improve their educational level. In fact, it was estimated that there are over 400,000 primary school teachers in Nigeria who do not have the minimum Teachers Grade 2 certificate as at that time of open and distance learning. Finally, the need for lifelong learning. For us to keep on learning, to keep on being relevant and current in our various fields, then there is the need for us to keep on learning. And that's why we call live global. And so, your last activity for this class is to tell us to what extent would you say that information communication technologies have affected teaching and learning in Nigeria? In Nigeria. History of open and distance learning unites All right. Welcome back. You can always get that clip from your. Actually from your portal. So anytime you are ready, anytime you want to watch, you can go there and watch as several times as you want. Okay, now you've listened to the instructional video, which is a summary of that unit 1. And let me take this time to welcome your questions. We actually have 5 minutes to the end of the class. So if you have questions now, you can please raise up your hand. Yeah, thank you for your comment that this is a great lecture. Thank you. Now, do you have any questions? If you have questions, you can raise up your hand physically or electronically so that I can recognize you, or you can just take permission to talk. Or mute yourself if you have a comment, a question. Okay, Raphael, I can see your hand up. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the lecture so far. I want to ask, the lecture just ended with an activity. The activity, is it for us to discuss, or how should we do it?
Yeah, you can discuss it, but it's not on the discussion forum.
Okay, okay.
There is another chat forum on your portal that you can use if you want to discuss with other students. All right. Any other question? Yeah, Monsieur Joe, do you want to talk? Yeah, Monsieur Joe, I'm seeing your hand. Are you saying, please unmute yourself? Yeah, Monsieur Joe, unmute yourself. We are not hearing what you are saying.
Hello, sir.
Aha, then we can hear you now.
I just want to appreciate your efforts, sir. So we are just starting on the lectures, but we believe that as we go on, we'll be able to understand it better and better. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Please understand that during the week, between now and next class, you're expected to go into your portal. You're expected to contribute in the discussion forum, contribute your own answer, make sure you read the answer of other students, and react to at least 2 of other students' posts. Okay. This creates what we call cross-fertilization of ideas. I will also be going into your discussion forum to read, and I'll be making comments also.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, if there are no more questions, I would like to call it a day. Thank you for being a wonderful group of people here today. And let us keep up our etiquette. You don't disturb other people when you are in class. If you want to talk, you mute your microphone. Any background noise, mute your microphone. And thank you, everybody. I wish you a pleasant weekend.
Oh, thank you, sir.